Hi, I'm Val Vacante, VP of Solutions Innovation at Dentsu, and we are here at CES 2024. And we are here with Mercedes Salisbury. Mercedes, tell us a little bit about you and your role at William Grant & Sons.
Sure. Thanks, Val. Hi, everyone. I'm Mercedes Salisbury. I'm the Senior Manager of Digital Marketing and Media here at William Grant & Sons. William Grant & Sons is a fifth-generation family-owned company that produces premium plus spirits globally. My specific role at William Grant & Sons is thinking about how we can optimize and create breakthrough digital marketing experiences online, and thinking about too how we can collaborate and push our brands forward and think how we can build really distinctive brands in all the different categories of spirits, whether that be single malts, gins, Irish whiskeys, tequila. Really, how can we start to really push the envelope?
That's fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit about what brings you to CES 2024. Tell us what's going on.
Sure. So I'm really excited to be here for my first CES with William Grant & Sons and Glenfiddich to debut the Glenfiddich Guide. It's a partnership that we worked on with both the Dentsu team and Meta as a part of their intelligent messaging that they are debuting here at CES 2024. And the Glenfiddich Guide is an interactive mobile experience where it will produce a single malt Scotch whiskey recommendation for Glenfiddich based off of some stated user preferences.
And then Mercedes, tell us a little bit about some of the learnings you've had in working with Dentsu, working with Meta for intelligent messaging. Tell us a little about that.
Sure. I think one of the biggest learnings that we found was that you don't have to take every single step in that first jump, right? We can really say, okay, what's going on now? How can we solve a very specific problem today? And think about how could we scale it in the future? So thinking about with conversational AI, how can we make that first step of using those stated user preferences to produce a single malt Scotch whiskey recommendation, but in the future, think about how we can build online advocacy for our brands, champion responsible drinking, and all the great things in that entrepreneurial spirit that William Grant & Sons is all about.
Well, and one of the things that was really exciting that we talked about in our session with Meta earlier today was talking about how we can power those CRM experiences through media and really connecting media to CRM. What other sort of insights or abilities that you've seen with intelligent messaging?
Sure. So right now we've piloted intelligent messaging with Glenfiddich so far, but we see an opportunity to really expand intelligent messaging across the entire portfolio. We know specifically with single malt Scotch whiskeys that there is a perceived complexity around the category about how to buy it for people who may not be as familiar with it, or for whiskey enthusiasts that really want to find that next variant that they'll know and love. So really thinking about how we can navigate all those different consumer groups, and of course how we can continue to drive business outcomes as well.
So Mercedes, tell us a little bit about your partnership with Dentsu and how we've all been working together.
Sure. So Dentsu is our media agency of record here in the US business as well as globally. So we've been working with iProspect for the past 4 years, thinking about our paid media strategy, our media measurement and evaluation, as well as thought leadership innovation opportunities like intelligent messaging brought to us from Meta and the Dentsu innovation team.
What motivated you to explore intelligent messaging?
Sure. As we think about artificial intelligence or AI, it is a buzzword that we're hearing all across the nation, not only within the alphabet industry, but I feel like I'm reading everything on Digiday and all these marketing dives about how to really start to take advantage of this technology. And so we pose the question back to Dentsu and say, hey Dentsu team, what can we do in the alphabet space to start to leverage artificial intelligence? And after having a couple collaborative conversations, we landed that conversational AI may be a great place to start. And of course, that led us to piloting intelligent messaging with the Glenfiddich Guide.
Amazing. And what's been really exciting in working with you and your team along the way, I mean, you are one of the innovators and pioneers, you know, as we start to sort of introduce intelligent messaging into the world. I think partnering on that kind of like now, near, next approach gave us bits of those like wins and learnings along the way. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's all about taking that first step. So you don't have to do everything in that first go. It's really that first now step of saying, hey, how can we start to test and learn with this technology, set up really controlled tests, and then scale it on and beyond. So how can we now think about the Glenfiddich Guide and those click-to-message capabilities into really doing something truly conversational with providing different product recommendations, thinking about food pairings, or just even telling consumers what the single malt Scotch category whiskey is all about and really what that malt is all about. And even other questions like how big are the stag's antlers for Glenfiddich, which could be a really fun question.
People want to know.
Exactly. I don't even know, but it'd be fun to see what the conversational AI could come up with in that scenario.
Absolutely, and it's been exciting teaming up, really shaping these experiences together, you know, highlighting on sort of a small, kind of put our toe in the water with the POC at an event. So that was a really great example of where you can use your own sort of organic places and spaces to drive to one-to-one conversations. As you said, in terms of like the sort of near state that we're working through and having those recommendations like the tell us about malt, like how many people don't know about malt, so now you can ask. And then I think the really exciting bit that we're doing in our near stage together is really that ability to scan the Glenfiddich bottle and launch into that one-to-one conversation and really get that advice that you shared.
Right. Imagine even being in a liquor store, right? You are looking at the aisle of single malt Scotch whiskeys, or you could take it to really any category, gin, vodka, tequila. And how powerful is that to be as a consumer standing there? Yes, of course, the shop owners and the people working in these stores or the bartenders, they're going to know and be able to give you a lot of great information, but it also empowers consumers to have that entrepreneurial spirit and say like, hey, I can go to Meta and Messenger and take a picture of this bottle and I can get to know the tasting notes, maybe what categories it might be great to host with. So it unlocks a great possibility of opportunities there.
Well, and you kind of touched on those occasions, and that's what's really exciting, right? So as you touched on sort of hosting the event, you know, or you just want to treat yourself, right?
Yes. I mean, who doesn't love a treat of a dram at the end of an evening or really in a celebration here at CES?
So Mercedes, tell us about the Glenfiddich Guide.
Sure. The Glenfiddich Guide is an interactive mobile experience that's powered through Meta Messenger. And it's right now going to give consumers a Glenfiddich single malt Scotch whiskey recommendation that is personalized based off of their stated preferences. We really thought about the consumer journey and how people engage with the single malt Scotch whiskey category. And based on those two things with how we know that they do, we really think about those self-treating moments, those hosting moments, and then of course gifting. Single malt Scotch whiskey category is really big into gifting. And so what we hoped with the Glenfiddich Guide was to really break down that perceived complexity of the category and give shoppers who may not be as familiar an easy tool to recommend the perfect Glenfiddich for their person that they have in mind to gift for, or for that whiskey enthusiast to get a little bit deeper into Glenfiddich and maybe find a new variant that they didn't know that they'll love.
We had a successful launch in our kind of now phase, or our POC phase that we had together. Tell us a little bit how people responded.
Sure. We were able to launch the Glenfiddich Guide at our national company meeting this past November. And we had over 70% of the participants at the conference engage with it over the course of the 3 days, which is fantastic to be able to see. I mean, we had such an appetite at the company to really engage with these new digital experiences to see how they could start to integrate it into their own activities that they do on the day-to-day basis, which was super exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what was really exciting about the events is 70% participation. But one of the things I thought that was brilliant in our sort of collaboration together is, you know, not everybody is on Messenger. So making sure that we create an experience that is going to be web friendly, so anybody can access it, but also, you know, having that Messenger experience and really launching into that personalization that Meta offers.
Right, and as we're thinking about that, the piece with Meta that intrigues us the most is that ongoing messaging opportunity where consumers can opt in to receive further messages from the brand. So how can we think about those moments where consumers are thinking about Glenfiddich, could be thinking about the category? How do we start to unlock those? But even in the web versions, how can we start to integrate that into some of our other activities where it could be a great supplemental sales tool?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything from when you talk about those marketing messages, it's really nice because you can use that click to message ads to drive those opt-ins. And then, like you say, those different marketing moments. So it might be, maybe it's Father's Day, or maybe there's particular event moments that you want to target different customers. And always giving that kind of like reminder or advice that the Glenfiddich Guide is there, right?
Yes, exactly. You hit the nail on the head with that one.
So Mercedes, tell us about what aspects of the collaboration were most valuable for you.
I think through this process we realized just the amount of opportunities that intelligent messaging could unlock. So really thinking about how we could take this, again, beyond that recommendation product engine into really building true product advocacy online and really building those brand experiences through intelligent messaging.
Well, and that's great to hear because, it does provide that whole customer experience, right? So everything we say from like discovery to loyalty, and it's exciting because we've been working on that together.
Yes, yeah, that loyalty piece I think will be one that'll be key for us as we think about that measurement through the end of the piece. So that initial engagement is great, but what do we do beyond that initial engagement to really drive some of those business outcomes? I think that's going to be one that we'll all take on this journey together to see what we can do with this technology next.
We talked about now, we talked about near, now let's talk about next. So where do you see the future of intelligent messaging?
Sure. The future of intelligent messaging, if only I had a crystal ball to be able to tell you all where it was going to go. No, but seriously, I feel like this is a space where things are evolving every single day. There's new technological advances that come out that if I were to tell you today where it was heading, that knowledge is going to become obsolete in the next 24 hours, the next month, the next year. So it's really hard to say where it's going to go, but I do know that with the entrepreneurial spirit of William Grant & Sons and really thinking about the long term, we want to be able to go on that partnership with Dentsu and with Meta to see where intelligent messaging could go.
And likewise, it's been such a phenomenal journey just sort of building this and experimenting with it together. So I can't wait to see, we're going to start shaping the future together too, right?
Let's do it. Let's start to shape the future. Thanks, everyone.